Mrparka here for our recent watches. I haven't done one in a while. They're piling up. I also watch Scanners 2 through 5, and I'll probably do a separate video for those, just do a series rundown or something. But I'll start out with this one. Actually, I think the director sent me a message saying, would you mind reviewing it? And there's a bit stacking up, so I figured I'd do it in the recent watches and, do it first and maybe spend a little more time on it. It is Biophage. It's an independent movie from Midnight Releasing. I think they're part of the Brain Damage type deal. The director is Mrparka. It's basically a zombie film, kind of a different kind of zombie film. He said he was trying to go for something with less violence, more thought-provoking. It's funny that they show color stills in the back, because the whole movie's in black and white. It kind of makes a nice feel to it. I thought some of the acting was, I thought it was decent. I mean, the main character is like a jarhead, so he's kind of stale, but he's kind of like by the book a little bit, and kind of keeps to himself a little bit, I think. But basically, it's these two characters, a scientist and a soldier, going around the country trying to find a cure for the virus, bring supplies back to this medical place. And along the way, they run into, some crazies, a guy who's doing cannibalistic things because there's no food, and a crazy reverend who's preaching to the dead. All sorts of things. They can't really trust anyone. And, of course, they can't even trust each other because there's kind of like some diabolical things back from headquarters coming into, because the soldier slept with the main guy's wife, so he's trying to get the other scientists to pick him off. And, meanwhile, there's a bunch of zombies out there trying to kill him, too. So it kind of takes a note from Romero in the sense that the humans are more of a threat than the actual zombies in this movie. Not too bad. I thought it was pretty cool. It was low budget. If you like those indie movies, if you like zombie films, it's worth a check out. It's Biophage. Nothing like too much gore or anything. There's some gore. It's kind of a lot about bonding, I guess, in a way. A little bit, kind of human nature, non-trustworthiness, and humans are the real enemy most of the time. But that's Biophage. Worth a look if you like zombie films, for sure, and independent films. This one is an old thing I made a long time ago. The menu and stuff is pretty cool, but the cover art's kind of crappy, and, the DVD case is crappy. But I made this one. The picture quality is a little less than VHS. I made this myself. It's Summer Camp Nightmare, and I just watched this for the first time. That was the first time I watched Biophage, too. This is the first time I watched this. Basically, I have the back here, and, it's just a cheesy, not necessarily cheesy, but it's a late 80s movie where these kids, they go to the summer camp, and it's run by Chuck Connors, and he's, like, really overly strict, and he's religious, and all the kids kind of revolt, and they end up taking over the summer camp, and it gets worse and worse, kind of like Lord of the Flies style. They start pitting against people, and by the end, a couple people are dead, and these kids have become murderers and stuff like that, and it's actually a pretty good movie. I actually was entertained by it. Well, it's fun. It has a lot of the 80s feel to it and stuff like that, and it's pretty well acted, and it has the guy from, I think, Spellcaster in it. Not a bad flick. It's kind of fun. I thought it was a pretty good movie, actually. Summer Camp Nightmare. No DVD release on that one. And this one I haven't watched since I was like 10 years old. And I've had the DVD for 10 years, and I popped it in. And, it's Gremlins 2. And, I had seen the first one a while, like probably couple years ago or something, but I've seen it more times than that. Just that was the last time I seen it. And I hadn't seen this one forever. And, I remembered a lot of it because I had the collector's cards as a kid. So when I started watching it, I thought I remembered more than I did, because there was all sorts of gremlins in there, like the Electricity Gremlin. I didn't remember him, and the Flasher. There's all sorts of cool gremlins in this one. The other ones that pop off Gizmo, the little ones like Dizzy and all those guys. Hilarious movie. I had a lot of, kind of involve the audience in it with the Hulk Hogan type deal. I really thought it had a great cast. It was really funny, really entertaining, and just a great family movie and it had something for everyone, and it had a little bit of sick humor in there. Christopher Lee's in there. Just lots of great stuff, lots of shout-outs, and Joe Dante did an excellent job with this movie. I highly recommend Gremlins, too, if you like little creature movies or, silly movies like that. And then I watched Romeo and Juliet. This is the second time I watched this one. The first time I thought it was okay. This time around, I still thought it was pretty decent. I don't think it's like Troma's best movie or anything like that, but it does have definitely some twisted stuff going on, and it is worth a watch for the Troma fans out there, or fans of just kind of disgusting stuff. But just really kind of Troma's take on Romeo and Juliet. Expect what You would, really, and some nasty stuff, and the final plot twist is excellent, really funny. But there's some really gross stuff happening in here, some deaths, some masturbation, all sorts of nasty, sleazy stuff that Trauma is ungodly known for. This release has 2 discs, but I guess a Blu-ray just came out, I think. But yeah, this is worth a look, especially if you're a Trauma fan, it's a must. And then we have Cannibal the Musical. This is the first time I watched Cannibal the Musical. It's a 2-disc here. And, I heard a lot about it, with guys from South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker making this. And I also sell basketball and stuff like that. So when I popped it in, it wasn't really what I expected, released from Trauma. The beginning opens up awesome and gory, and it's a musical, and it's ridiculous, and then it starts getting more of a story like it. Him trying to find his horse and his love for his horse. Completely idiotic and stupid, but funny. And I must say the best part is the snowman building. The part where he's like, we could build a snowman. Everyone knows that part if you've seen the movie. And the second part is really, when he starts singing it the second time, it's just amazing. It's a fun movie. It's really stupid. It's not so much great, but it gets stuck in your head like Schmadoinkle. I caught myself saying that the day after. It gets stuck in your head, and I think that it's just one of those ones that probably gets funnier with every viewing. And I only seen it once, so I can't really... I can't confirm that. But yeah, if you're a Trauma fan, if you're a South Park fan, it's worth a look, definitely. And then we have this one, which is I bought from, Slasher Index. The case isn't great, but there's a menu, and it's really cool, and picture quality is VHS like it should be. It's on Blood Tracks. It's like a Swedish 1985 slasher movie, and it's everything you would expect, which is a good thing to me, because it's cheesy, high body count, it's really funny. I caught myself enjoying the whole movie. The body count's nearly 20. There's nudity, there's a ridiculous characters doing stupid things, and just a lot of fun. This hair metal band is like making a music video out there with this director, and there's a bunch of dancers, and then all of a sudden this like clan of like crazy mountain men and living in this abandoned factory in the wilderness in the mountains and snow and stuff starts picking them off, and they fight back. It's like a Hills Have Eyes ripoff with the slasher stuff, and I really thought it was fun. I would recommend this. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. Blood Tracks. It's dubbed, it's silly, it's ridiculously stupid, but it's on unlimited amounts of cheese and fun. Blood Tracks. Then we have completely opposite of Blood Tracks here. This independent, I don't mean opposite that it's bad, but we have independent iZombie, which is from Fangoria. And, this movie right here is so depressing. I believe it's a British film, and it kind of takes the place like it's like a documentary, like interviewing some people about this guy's disappearance. And what really happened was he had a serious relationship with this girl, and he went out in the woods to do something, and he got attacked by a zombie, and he hides from her because he commits some murders that he doesn't really have control of, and he slowly starts turning into a zombie, almost depressing, and he kind of documents it, and he's falling apart, and he just thinks about his girlfriend and all, and everyone's wondering what happened to him, where he disappeared to, and it gets very depressing, this man turning into a monster, and here it says his soul was the last thing to go. And the movie goes on, and he just keeps losing things, losing his humanity, losing his body parts, losing his sexual organs, everything, and it's very depressing and sad. Not to mention he has these crazy nightmares that are very Japanese-oriented man-to-machine type deal. And I would highly recommend this one. It's a very depressing movie, very well made, and it's really kind of sad. And I really enjoyed the movie, actually. That's not the first time I've seen that. I've seen it a long time ago, years ago, when I first got the DVD. Long out of print now, probably, but maybe you can find it. It's worth tracking down. Then the last is Evolver, which is basically this cheesy, like, 90s flick, early 90s. You get the kind of video game horror type deal, like, like Arcade or something like that. And, there's a couple other ones out there, But anyways, this kid is great at video games, and he wins this Evolver tournament, or comes close. And this company sends the real-life Evolver robot there, and he tries to play it in his house. Of course, Evolver was a military weapon beforehand, hence Class of 1999. Very similar. Every kind of thing that's implemented with children ends up being a past military weapon. Even hardware had that type deal, but no children. And anyways, never trust random machines. They're definitely military influenced or made. And this thing starts picking up weapons and actually starts killing the people it's playing. Of course, the kids fight back, and they find out, and it's a pretty fun movie. It's a guilty pleasure. It has some cool kills. This is exactly the early 90s movie you would think of. Something like has a Brain Scan vibe. Not as good as Brain Scan or anything, but I caught myself enjoying it, was never bored, and thought it was pretty cool. It's Evolver. That's my recent watches. I'm Mr. Parker. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.